Hey, panel, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Good to have you guys here.
Good to be here, Jim. Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Well, let's just kind of go around the horn and fill everyone in on who you guys are in case this is the first episode. Then we'll jump into this Q4 topic.
Let's do it. I'll start. So, guys, Ryan Rieger here. I feel like, Jim, I've known you for years and years, like in internet years. It's been forever, right? 2012, I won that contest. People might remember hearing about that story.
That's going to be a decade soon. That's crazy.
It is crazy, isn't it? Yeah. So I was selling furniture on Craigslist, then ran across Jim. I was on your list from about 2003 or 4 and just didn't have the opportunity to do anything with it until I finally was out of a job in 2008. Won that contest in 2012. Briefly, you had a contest on eBay for your book, 101 Free Marketing. I knew I had to win it, and we won and got a chance to, instead of a 30-minute phone call, had a 2-hour lunch with you. Malene and I flew up to Indianapolis, and that was well worth.
That was a great day.
Absolutely. That was so much fun.
I think we all knew this. That was the beginning of something special too, just hanging out. And
I was hoping.
Oh, yeah. You guys just, such a beautiful couple, beautiful family. Didn't have Callan yet,
No, we didn't.
It was pretty big.
You told us about Amazon FBA. And I kind of knew that it existed, but didn't know much about it. We were shipping large pieces of furniture all over the country at the time. And so that changed our world. And then a couple of years after that, I was able to write a book that you launched, and that got me into the info side of things. And now I have the Legends group that you helped me with and promote that heavily. And we got a lot of success stories in that here. Both the other two panelists are leaders in that group with me. And so, yeah, that's what I do. I mean, I just sell on Amazon, but I really, and you guys know this, I really just love teaching people. I love this opportunity, and there's nothing like it. There's, in my opinion, there's no other opportunity that somebody can, with zero experience and literally $0, jump in and have a business. And we have so many success stories that prove that. So I'm excited about the Q4 opportunity for folks too.
Well said, man. Beautiful. Great to have you here.
Yeah.
This truly is a dream team today, honey. Let's hear from you next.
Yeah. So Ryan just said, start with no experience and no money. That was how we started. I actually heard about the MST community and Amazon, FBA, all of that from Ryan. I've been friends with Ryan since I was in 5th grade. So we've known each other.
That's right. I always forget that. You guys are in the same school pictures with dorky haircuts, right?
Yes.
Yep.
You got to break one of those out sometime for us.
Honey's got them all.
I do have them. I do. So, really just at the time we were looking for a way for my husband to get out of his job, and just really stressful job. And I know that he is not the only person out there with that story, that just, I really don't like my job. I want another option. I want to be able to spend time with my family. And so that's how we were just digging around looking for stuff. And a conversation with Ryan is what started all of that. I had twin newborns. My twins were born in September, and that Q4 is when we started selling on Amazon. And so I'm just going to be honest and say I wasn't really involved in the community, because I was really busy with little people. So it was a slow start, not having any clue what was going on, not really digging into stuff, just kind of winging it and trying to figure it out on our own. It's a slow start. We eventually, really got into this stuff and learning from the community, from the Legends group. And we're able to bring my husband home from his job in 2019, which is an awesome blessing. I know there's countless stories in this community of that happening, which was huge. And now I'm a homeschool mom of 6 kids. The twins were my youngest. So I'm homeschooling 6 kids. I'm able to stay home with them, which was a huge blessing, even through 2020, able to be home with my kids and run a business. I've got a lot of it outsourced. So a lot of it's just honestly on autopilot, because my goal is to be able to be, home with my kids and investing in them when they're young. So, yeah.
And before we give Jimmy the microphone, man, just a quick shout out to the single moms out there. The moms are kind of doing a lot of this on their own. And you guys truly are the heroes of this community. I hope you feel that love. But your story, honey, I'm sure is inspired. And we've heard from many, many moms who said, okay, she can do it. It's like, you're Wonder Woman to a lot of people. You really are, myself included.
Yes.
So well done. Great job. Kudos to you, and keep up the great work. And this community stands with and behind you all the way. Awesome. What a great story. And Jimmy, Go ahead, man. What's next?
Yeah. So for me, it was I was one of those people that hated working my regular job selling insurance to businesses. And back in it was technically Q4 of 2015. I was trying to look for a way to be able to quit doing what I was doing and move back home, essentially to St. Louis, where I'm from, and be with my wife and work on a business together. I looked at a whole bunch of different programs out there and Amazon programs. And the one that consistently kept coming up was Jim Cockrum and the My Silent Team community. So for us, we jumped right in with coaching in December of 2015. Got started right out the gate with some direct help, and it was a huge blessing for us and our family, and just moving forward from there. And then after that, for a couple of years, we continued to do that part-time while I was still working my job. Moved back to St. Louis, had this as kind of a stable, backdrop in terms of cash flow and just building up a side hustle, essentially, and a pile of money doing it, on the side. So it was something that my regular job provided for all the bills, and this was our savings. And eventually we hit the point where I could quit my job, and we could start growing and scaling from there, utilizing the replens model after being in the Legends community and learning about it. And we scaled it from there. And since then, we've had the replens course come out, done a whole bunch of other things for really how you can start your Amazon business with very little money and find products that you can buy over and over again. So you're not constantly hunting the clearance aisles or different stores. And from there, we've helped, hundreds of people, had hundreds of success stories come out of the replens group. So that's pretty much what's been going on, how we got started.
Yeah, this really is. I'm just hearing these stories and even learning a few bits that I didn't know or that I've forgotten. This truly is a dream team for the topic we're going to tackle today. But before we jump into the topic, a couple of things come to mind. All three of you guys mentioned the Legends group, so we might as well let people know how they can join that. There'll be a link in the show notes too, by the way, for anything we talk about today. But provenamazoncourse.com/legends. And you can jump over there. I think we still have the trial offer too.
We do. I was going to look at that link. I think it's just Legends trial is the link for $1 trial for a full 30 days.
provenamazoncourse.com/legends trial. You can check it out for a month for $1 and see this group that you guys are talking about. It's the big group. As we're recording this right now, we could be passing the 66,000 member mark in our free Facebook group, which is just incredible. Again, seems like yesterday we launched that group, and it just grows by hundreds of people every month.
And Jim, you don't let anybody in that group either. That's not like 66,000 people that I wonder, you'd have millions if you'd let every single person in.
I don't know about that, but we have certainly hundreds of thousands for sure. Because for every 10 people that ask to get in, we let in 3 or 4, because they've got to answer questions and they've got to take those entrance questions seriously. And if you're a spammer who just happens to squeeze in, you're going to get the boot pretty quick. So we kick a lot of people out. This is, for the most part, the vast majority of these people are very serious business building warriors, but that's 66,000 of us, right? That's not it's hard to be intimate in a crowd of 66,000, but the Legends group, It's a smaller group. You'll get to know the same names and faces. You'll see the same people popping up frequently. You guys have events a couple times a year. You get together, a few hundred of you. It's more of a family feel.
Right.
Just a really cool community. I love hanging out with as much as possible. But Ryan, you've taken the reins and run with that. And it's just a beautiful opportunity for people. Kind of a side note, but since all three of you mentioned it. And the other thing too is none of you tooted your own horn quite enough. And I'm not going to dive into that too much now, but Jimmy, you specifically, we've got hundreds of success story testimonials from the way that you systemized replens. You didn't invent the concept of buying low and selling high, of course, but that's been around for a couple thousand years. But on Amazon, the concept of finding replens that you can easily source and flip for a profit without scanning barcodes, you really systemized that. You've got a great book on it, and we'll stick that in the show notes as well. And that you helped create the content for the Proven Amazon course in that arena. It's helped so many people around the world, which is just incredible. And I'm not going to go into all of you guys. The other two of you have inspired numerous people, great books, great content. Looking forward to many more great projects in the future with all of you guys. The team is just incredible. And it blows my mind too, just as a side note before we move forward, there's about 90 people that we could do this with today. And just we've been doing this a while. We've got some great leaders, people who really care, and you three are among them, included for sure, as top tier leaders in that community. So, okay, let's talk Q4, guys. Maybe we can go around the horn. Maybe we'll go in the opposite direction this time, Jimmy, Honey, Ryan, and just say, what are you anticipating? How are you preparing? How are you not preparing? Maybe is a fair question too for replen sellers. Maybe there's not a whole lot you need to do different. And let's talk about these Q4 groups that we've got coming too.
Yeah. So for me with Q4, it's always kind of a tricky decision for me. There are sometimes, last year we just focused strictly on our replenishable products, and you'll see a bump in your sales just because there's more people on the Amazon.com platform buying products from Amazon. But we have done in the past quite a bit of Q4 related activities of finding the hot toys, the clearance stuff, finding, the seasonal and cyclical things that come around once every year for Q4, for Christmas products, Thanksgiving products, etc. And so there's so many different things that you can do. So I don't want anybody that's thinking about Q4 groups to be like, oh, I'm going to have to go find all these clearance things. You can focus on your replens and you will get a bump in sales, but there's so much opportunity out there. I know people that make all their money for the year in Q4 and they just stick with that because there's so much, again, opportunity in that. For me, this year, I'm expecting there to be quite a bit of a bump. With last year, we saw a decent sized one because, unfortunately, of the COVID situation. This year, there's continuing to be, things coming out that there's going to be more lockdowns. So more people are going to have to buy online, in certain states and certain areas. So that opportunity is going to continue to grow because there are more people buying online this year. Additionally, people are used to it. A couple of years ago, there were a lot of consumers that would not buy anything on Amazon, and now they're used to it. They love it. They get it in a couple of days, or a day, or even less in some cases, depending on where you're located. And that opportunity just continues to grow. So in our business now, we do like to focus on our replens and continue to let those things go and continue to find those and build that list. But ultimately, we do focus as well on some of the seasonal items, whether it's decor or food products that apply for the fourth quarter. So that's what I expect to happen this year. And yeah, I think also merchant fulfilling will, again, as usual, be a big focus for a lot of people within December and November as it gets too late to send the products into Amazon. And so, yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming up. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, Jimmy. I think, the thing about Q4 is that this is when the biggest opportunity is. I think probably now more than ever, at least since all of us have been selling, that it just continues to grow and grow. And even more so now with, like Jimmy said, how people are used to shopping online. They're looking for the convenience. Maybe they can't get out. Maybe they don't want to get out. And so the opportunity is there for whatever you can do and you're willing to do. The opportunity is absolutely there. And for some people, that means, just doing more of what you're already doing. For me, like I said, I have a lot of mine on autopilot. So I just send in more replens. I'm huge on seasonal replens because that stuff sells really well. Just the, pumpkin spice, everything, all those kind of things that you just sell really well for just these few months out of the year. And so I do a lot of that because it's really just easy. I call them seasonal replens because you can sell them more than once. It's not the same as a clearance. I'm still selling them for a few months. And so it's less effort for more on the other end of it than just scanning clearance. But so I do a lot of that, but really as much time and ability, funds that you have. So maybe for some of you, that's going to be, a lot of merchant fulfilled. Maybe some people are looking at different platforms besides just FBA. There's all kinds of opportunity on countless platforms on Walmart and Facebook Marketplace. And I could probably list about a dozen other right now that I'm just not thinking of. But I know, for the upcoming Q4 groups, we're talking about more than just Amazon FBA replens. We're talking about a lot of the other opportunity that's out there for whatever you are willing and able to do. Merchant fulfilled is a lot more challenging for me being a mom of 6 little people. So it's not a huge priority for me. You can work with prep centers if you have some that are willing to do that. A lot of my stuff is outsourced. Like I said, I have my stuff, my FBA stuff just goes to a prep center. It's hands off for the most part at this point. And they just deal with that. So there's a lot of different ways for, depending on your lifestyle, your income, or your resources for time and money, to make it work for you. But this is the time of the biggest opportunity, in my opinion, of the year. And so that's why we focus a lot on this. This is when everybody is shopping even more than normal. So, yeah.
Honey, I love that you said that, because a lot of people think back when I was doing Q4 heavy, it was let's run around to every single store in my town and find, and you don't see your family and you're gone. And some people in our group will go on road trips during Q4 and stop at all these. They might go around their whole state or even whole region. I remember back years ago, there was some friends of ours, Jim, that would go, they lived in Tennessee and they drove to Oklahoma all the time for certain things that sold. Well, I don't even remember what the item was, but that's a possibility. You guys can totally do that, but that is absolutely not what I want in my business. I'm more like Honey. I don't do any merchant fulfilled. My Amazon business is almost completely outsourced. I'm in my lane. I'm doing what I love. And I just know that during Q4, I'm going to sell more of everything that I'm selling. So that's kind of my strategy. So whether you're more like, what we used to do in Q4, which is go around all over the place and look for clearance deals, that is still an awesome opportunity. And that's really kind of fun, honestly, but I just don't have time to do that anymore. But that's what you want. That opportunity is there. If you're looking more towards like what Honey just described, is no merchant fulfilling, outsourcing a lot, we're going to talk about that stuff. The other thing I want to mention too, with the Q4 groups are going to be, is Q4 is just 3 months of time. In this group, it's not just about Q4. You can go into these trainings and you're going to be well prepared for, it's hard to say 2022. That sounds crazy to say that, but we will prepare you for just the foundational stuff that will work no matter what it is, because it's just the same things. I mean, really, we're going to be talking a lot about replens, because that is what is sustainable. And those of you that love the clearance, I mean, you're going to find that too. That's going to be easy pickings in Q4. It's just easier. But I know a lot of you want that sustainable, long-term type of business model. And in this business, it's replens for sure. And so we're going to be hitting that hard, because that's just that is the foundation. And we want to make sure that you are successful, not just in Q4, but throughout the rest of the year.
Had to unmute myself there as I'm listening to the three of you guys talk about these groups. A few questions are popping in my head. First one is, and I didn't prepare you guys for these. I'm just trying to listen with the ears of our podcast listeners today. No one talked about toys. I thought toys were supposed to explode this time of year. Like, what's the scoop with that? Someone fill us in.
Yeah, for me, I don't really focus a ton on toys. I mean, that is something that is out there. It's still an opportunity. Amazon last year, or this year actually, started to crack down a little bit on some of the requirements for toys. So I'm curious to see how they'll handle that this year, because so much of it's over 50% of Amazon's sales come from us third-party sellers. So I'm curious to see if they're going to kind of open up some of those certificate requirements, if they're going to kind of loosen those restrictions a little bit and allow people to sell toys. But I don't really focus on it. We sell toys. We don't sell a ton of toys, and we haven't sold a lot of toys in 2 or 3 years since we did all of that clearance stuff. So for me, it's not a necessary thing. Toys are going to always be there during Q4. And I think the opportunity from a merchant fulfilled standpoint, eBay, other platforms, toys might be a better opportunity on those platforms where some of these compliance requirements won't exist. But Amazon might also loosen those restrictions this year. We'll see. Only time will tell. But yeah, that opportunity is there. But just as much as, I don't know, stuffing for turkey, like that kind of stuff is also a huge opportunity. And we're talking about, obviously, it's replens that we're going to focus on. But really, whenever you learn how to find replens, you're also learning how to read the best keep a chart for clearance items, for anything else in your business. So everything that we'll teach from a replenishable standpoint is going to apply to any other arbitrage, wholesale, private label standpoint as well, depending on what you're doing in your business. So for me, toys, yeah, it's there, but so are seasonal items, so are food items, so is candy, all of that stuff. But that's my opinion. I don't know if anybody else has a different one.
And it's not uncommon too, before the others pipe in here, that to see January be stronger than December if you're a replen seller. Not unusual at all, especially if you don't focus on that opportunistic spike. But that's one of the things that I think we will see pop up. And this is just me kind of predicting based on no insider information. But I think the people who take the time to dig into toys this year, after Amazon has basically been telling third-party sellers they're going to make our life miserable trying to sell toys to especially 12 and under, right? If you do find a way to get in there and make it work, Amazon's going to have a hard time stocking their own shelves, like you just said, Jimmy. And before we move on, Jimmy, a quick question. Those compliance certificates, as far as you know, that applies to Merchant Fulfill and FBA, correct?
I believe so, yeah. As far as I know, it does right now. So
I just want to make sure we didn't mislead anyone thinking, oh, if I do my own shipping, I don't have to worry about that. No, it applies across the board. But I would say keep checking, because at some point, an executive at Amazon is going to walk into another executive at Amazon's office and go, what is going on with toy sales? We're down 48%. Like, oh, let's tell the sellers to turn it back on. Something's going to break there, and Amazon's going to need our help. So keep an eye on that. I'm predicting there will be opportunity there. And it may come in a surprising way where like, hey, yeah, we told you we couldn't before, but now it's okay. So I plan to hit there was a handful of toys that we sold hundreds of units of, tracked them down like crazy last year. I'm going to check them again this year. And it's primarily stuff that's 12 and under you got to be careful with. But do check. Amazon will tell you if you're not allowed to sell it. If they ask for a bunch of certificates, maybe easier just to skip it and focus on the good stuff. But these are the topics that will be covered in this Q4 group. That's the advantage of this group, is we'll be in real time navigating the opportunities of Q4. All right. So what comes to mind, Ryan, honey? What are we missing so far?
Yeah, just what you said right there was that in real time, like we kind of have a plan of what we're going to cover. There's going to be a lot of over the shoulder training. It's because those are the things that we see, and even in the Legends group, that people need and want. It's just, I want to see how Jimmy makes a decision of buying something, and watching over his shoulder. So there's gonna be a lot of over the shoulder online arbitrage training. We'll have some people in the store doing live retail arbitrage training. You see how the experts make decisions. That's been super popular in the past. We're gonna have more of that. Lots of Q&As, lots of Ask the Expert sessions. You're going to see a lot of Jimmy. He's going to be on almost every single webinar because he said he loves webinars. And so we'll take advantage of that and use him because he's so good and knowledgeable. But if something comes out like a policy notification from Amazon, we'll be able to do a quick webinar in the group and talk about those things. So yes, we have our plan of what we want to go over, and we got to cover these things. We got to do a lot of OA and RA. We got to do a lot of KEPA training, make sure people understand KEPA. But hey, we're going to do a quick, Amazon just announced something. Let's get on tonight. And we're going to explain what it all means. So we have that ability to be able to pivot.
Yeah, there's a great power in community like this. Being able to, have that real time questions right there. It's I'm not by myself doing this. I think, as entrepreneurs, as online sellers, or whatever your thing is, it can be very lonely where you feel like you're trying to figure it out all by yourself. I'm just trying to kind of wing it and do the best I can. What's nice about these groups like this community, is that in the middle of Q4, when everything is crazy, you don't have to try to figure out, oh, what about this certificate? Or what do you guys do about this? Or what if you have this prep issue or return issue or whatever? You have other people there that are resources that can walk you through it, that can say, hey, this is what worked for me, or this is what didn't work for me. And it can tremendously help your learning curve. I know for our business, it was a distinct difference as to when we were just kind of looking through and trying to figure stuff out ourselves. And maybe part of it's just our learning style, but for us, I'm looking through and trying to figure it out. And it was a lot slower than when I was able to be a part of a group where I could ask questions, where I could discuss things. How are you guys doing it? You learn all kinds of little tips and tricks that you wouldn't even imagine, that just from being in a community where people are bouncing ideas off each other and talking about things, and you're not doing it on your own. Even though it is your business, you don't feel like you're doing it alone. You feel like I have other people that are there to support each other. And that's a huge thing what these groups are about. We want to support and encourage you. We want to see your business succeed. We're not going to hold all these little secrets to ourselves and not tell you, the really good stuff. We are literally trying to tell you, here's everything that's worked for us. Here are the great places to look for things. And we're going to give you as much information as we can because we want to see your business succeed. So it's a huge benefit to these groups.
Based on past feedback, excellent insights, honey. Appreciate that. Based on past years' feedback, this is one of the favorite offers we make every year. People just love it. At our live event in Tampa here, just a few weeks ago, as we're recording this, I had someone come up to me, and I always like to say, "Hey, how'd you find our community? How'd you get started? What was your?" And they started in a Q4 group. That was the first thing they ever did with us. Was they jumped into the provenq4plan.com. We haven't mentioned the website yet. It'll be in the show notes at silentjim.com. Proven Q4. That's the letter Q, the number 4, as in fourth quarter. provenq4plan.com. That's how they got started. And now they have a massive successful business. But there's just so much momentum. It's like if there was a 2 or 3 month period and you're a fisherman, and there's a 2 or 3 month period at a certain lake where just everything bites like crazy. Anything you try seems to work. That's a good time to get started as a fisherman. It's very encouraging. Whereas if you started in like July, that tends to be a slower month. July, August, those are slower online shopping months, right? But the fourth quarter, those final 3 months, it's just everything's on fire. So the energy, the encouragement, the camaraderie. And one of the questions I'm going to try to stump the panel with next, again, thinking through the lens of I'm new to Silent Sales Machine Radio podcast, or I'm already running a successful business. And what I've basically heard so far is, hey, get ready for a lot more customers. Okay, why do I need the group then? What do I need this fourth quarter group then? And we've already mentioned several things, and the sales page where we listed out has a lot of things documented out. But as I pose that question to the panel, I'll take a shot at it first if you guys like, or one of you can go ahead. But let's make the pitch for why you need this if you already understand replens.
Yeah. So to me, if you already understand replens, there's going to be a lot of things within the Q4 groups that apply strictly to Q4 in certain cases. I mean, Q4 has its own complexities to it, right? Such as Black Friday. Well, how do you handle Black Friday? Such as, how do you deal with eBay shipments? There's a lot more stuff on eBay as well that can happen. How do you handle returns from customers and things like that? Whenever you get, rising tides raises all ships, right? Whenever you get more customers onto a platform, there also becomes a little bit more complexities with how you handle and run your business and the things that you should be looking for. And so from a Q4 standpoint, to differ it from even the Replens Facebook group and the Replens course, we're going to be covering a lot of very Q4 specific things. And not just for Amazon, but for multiple platforms too, where we have other experts that'll come on and help figure out, okay, this is what you do on Walmart.com for Q4. This is what you can do with eBay.com for Q4. Even some international content, right? That will be in there for experts from those different areas. Additionally, having the network, right? Having the people that you can rely on is a huge blessing. And it's very important to have that to continue to move forward in your business, to feel like, you've got somebody else in your corner that understands, that might be having the same issues as well. And so, yeah, I think the power is in the complexities of Q4. So we're going to cover those, as well as the network that you can, key into, that you can join and be a part of. So that would be what I would say.
Yeah, before Ryan and Honey step in, I would agree. That's probably the strongest part of what you just said is as you're going through this fourth quarter experience, it can feel a bit like running around with your hair on fire. Like, okay, if I just stay up till 4 a.m, I could make an extra $1,000 today. Like, there's other people navigating that with you. Like, okay, at what point do you turn it all off and enjoy Thanksgiving? Someone tell me, So just that camaraderie and some of the partnerships you're going to form with other people who are on this journey. If that's all you got was the community of people who are going through it with you together, it's well worth the investment. But you're going to get all kinds of other content that isn't shared elsewhere in our community. So that's a very strong pitch. Did you guys have anything to add to that?
I would just say you only need one tip, one deal that's shared that makes up more than the amount that's invested. And these groups are you guys know, if you've been around our community long enough, we don't overcharge. We way undercharge for things. The value is in just incredible. So you just need one tip, one relationship, one deal that makes it all worth it.
We've been saying you'll run out of money before you run out of deals. Whatever that amount of money is you're getting ready to spend on your Q4 inventory, you're going to burn through it. We guarantee you that because, and you mentioned, we don't promise, hey, here's the 50 things to go buy.
Right.
But those will organically float. You will see several of those like, hey, if you happen to see this thing, anywhere, buy them. I can't find it anymore. They're flying like crazy. It'll be the seasonal items. We typically don't do that with our normal replens because we don't want 80 other people selling it. But on this stuff that like you can't get your hands on, hey, get to Walmart now. They've got a few of them. You've got to grab it. You will see that type of activity in the Q4 groups. I think that's what makes it special too, is it's the time of year where you can share your replens. Hey, those candy canes aren't going to be on the shelf a month from now. Everybody knows it. But right now, they're on fire. So you'll see that kind of thing. Anything else come to mind, Honeywoods, as we went through this?
Really, I think one of my favorite things about these groups really is just seeing that you're not in it alone. And I think that's just a big thing for all of us. Realizing that we are here to support and encourage you. Like Jim says, there'll be the deals that'll be shared. There'll be the different platforms will teach you about all this, but there's also that piece of you don't have to figure all this out yourself. We will have not just us, we'll have other people that'll be coming in and sharing their experiences and their success stories. And here's what's worked for our business. And so you don't feel like you're trying to navigate and figure all this stuff out on your own. If you're a newer seller, you've never been through Q4 before, it's kind of like, we're just going to walk you through it. Here are some ways that you can do this and succeed. And like Ryan says, it's even beyond Q4. It's, we want to help your business succeed for Q4 and beyond. We want to teach you how to do these things so that you will be able to, bring a spouse home if that's what you choose to do, or quit your job or whatever that looks like. We are your team, the proven Q4 plan team that will walk you through and show you a path to success for your business, whatever that looks like. And it may not look like mine or Ryan's or Jimmy's or Jim's or anybody else's. And that's okay. I love the beauty of all of this e-commerce is that our businesses don't have to look the same, but we can help you succeed in whatever your goals are. And so that's what we're here for, is just to walk you through that and to bring all the materials and the resources and the people that we can. This is the place to find it. This is the place that is going to help you succeed in Q4. And we have a team of people to help you with that. So
well said. Well said. Thank you.
And to jump in real quick, because Ryan said just one deal or one tip can make it all worth it. We started, as I said earlier, in December of 2015. So we weren't in any Q4 groups. We started with coaching. And our coach at the time, Gary Baird, he shared with us one of his deals. We have sold that every year since 2015. We've paid back the value of coaching from that deal. Just that one thing, if we never sold anything else. And I know that the groups aren't just about deals. We made $8,000 on that in our first few weeks just on Amazon, which is rare, but you can take one tip, right? If you learn replens, if you learn how to use the Keep a Product Finder to find out of stock listings on Amazon that you can sell and restock, or find things where Amazon was selling it and now they're out and you can go merch it, fulfill it. One tip can pay that back. And I just wanted to speak to the power of that. It's pretty crazy. We have had a replen since 2015 December that's every season has come out and made us thousands of dollars. And again, that's not necessarily going to happen for everybody, but that is something that can happen at times. So
and if you join this group, Jimmy will be sharing it, right?
Not for this whole group.
Oh, no. Not that one. Okay.
No, not that one.
But you will see plenty of examples like that.
Absolutely.
Sure, of stuff that pops up and seasonal, and even some of the creative seasonal bundles that people will put together and share. It's going, if you're ready to do the work, I guess I'd like to say, who is this not for? And maybe we can each kind of take a stab at that, because we're not looking to talk you into something that if you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. So maybe who it's not for. The first thing that comes to mind for me is you've already got your routine dialed in. You're prepped for Q4. You've got your inventory. You know what you're selling. You're not looking for any kind of new information to help boost your Q4. It's just another 3 month of the year kind of thing. You're so dialed in. It's not for you. Is there anyone else, though, that this isn't for? Anyone else that this wouldn't benefit? Maybe they have no time. Maybe someone that says, because you are going to have to spend some time. And what is the time commitment? I present that question to the panel. How much time do I need to put in if I'm going to take advantage of a proven Q4plan.com opportunity? What's the time commitment there? Am I too busy? So who wants to take a shot
Yeah,
at
as
that?
far as the time, so we're going to have at least 2 different webinars a week, and looks like about every other week we're going to have a Ask the Expert session, and we're going to have them scheduled out as far out in advance as we possibly can, so people know what's coming up. We don't want somebody who is, has no interest in merchant fulfilling to spend their time watching a merchant fulfilling webinar. We've noticed on past Q4 groups, there have been some people that we think are just a part of the community, just watch every webinar because they love being involved, but we're not really sure that they're doing any of the things in their business, which, hey, if we're able to provide community and that's one thing you love about it, then that's cool. But the goal is this for you to take action in your business. So the time commitment, there's going to be at least 2 webinars a week. Usually there's going to be some breakout sessions that some of those maybe should be breakouts, like a Zoom meeting where you can actually build relationships with people, be on camera. So it's not just in the background. But you can spend you just need one tip. So you can spend as little time as you want or as much time you want in the group. I would say, somebody who's doesn't have a lot of time, just pop in and pop out, ask a question, get it answered, and then leave and go back to work and do what you need to do. The price point's so low with it. It's like, you don't really need to be involved every single day. It doesn't need to clutter up your feed to get value out of this.
You do have to be willing. You have to be someone that's willing to put in effort. And we're not going to do all the work for you. We'll provide the information. We'll provide the resources. Like Ryan said, there may be a lot of information, but not every single one is going to be for you. Maybe you don't want to sell merchant fulfilled or on Walmart or eBay, and that's okay. Those will be there for those people that want to, but you don't have to watch every single training and do what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So those will be there for you, so you can spend more. But we're not going to do the work for you. You still have to put it in. For some people, it's like, okay, I'm going to, get up an hour earlier and go do a little of this or stay up an hour later. Some of that is just prioritizing. If it's important to you, then you'll make the time to some extent. But as a mom that homeschools with 6 kids and runs a business, you're going to come up with excuses, and I could probably squash a lot of them. So you have to actually have the desire, and you have to want to learn and want to do the business, because we aren't going to do all of it for you. We can give you tips, we can give you pointers and training, but if you have no desire to actually put in some effort, at least for these few months, then we probably can't help you very much, because I'm not going to come to your house and buy your stuff and ship it for you. So there's still a little bit of that. You have to be self-motivated enough that this is important to you enough to try to figure that out. It doesn't mean you have to spend 30, 40, 50 hours, watching every training video and every conversation. And like Ryan said, you can pop in and out for some of that stuff. It just depends on what you need for your business and which pieces and parts do you want to grow. Then that's where you need to focus your attention. If you are limited on time, focus on those parts and leave the rest. You'll have the group later that you can come back to it if that's of interest to you. We're not going to kick you out in a couple of weeks, pick the parts that work for you and then set it aside, come back later to it if you need to. But you do have to be willing to make some kind of an effort and put in the work. If you want to see the success, we're not going to do it for you.
Yeah, it's perfectly covered. I don't have anything else to add for that. They covered everything I would have said. So,
yeah, good. So hopefully that helps people make a good decision. Is this for me or not? Right. Well, I think we've covered the topic very well. I always like to make sure that we've included some very practical value, which I think we have for sure at this point. But is there anything else that any of you guys on the panel wanted to share with the listeners? What's working now? Any tips or strategies as we head into Q4? I think the theme of this has been, hey, if you're a replens seller and you've been selling steady, successful, just get ready for a whole lot more traffic. Keep doing what you're doing. You don't necessarily have to change anything. But if you do want to take advantage of this wave that's coming, and Jimmy, you pointed out too, different cities and states and around the world, different places are starting to say, hey, everybody stay home again now. Not to get into the craziness of all that, but there's no break in sight where people are going to go, oh, we don't need to shop online anymore. Those habits have been established. More and more people are. My theory, I think we're going to see a ridiculous fourth quarter as far as Amazon shelves being emptied and saying, hey, if you can ship anything at all, FBM, please do. My theory, including toys, by the way. And if not on Amazon, on Facebook Marketplace, people are going to be staying home and shopping on eBay. It's going to explode. So to take advantage and tap into that, when do we start, Ryan? What's our start date for this? Like, when's the first content?
September 13th, I think, is our first live welcome. Yep. In the evening, it's going to be our first welcome webinar. We are going to immediately, as soon as we open that up, we have, and one thing we didn't mention too, is if you're a brand new person, you need to at least have your Amazon account. But if you've never even sent anything to Amazon yet, this is actually still for you, because last year we went through and did a 6 or 7 week quick start class before Q4 to get people prepped. And you're going to get it. And we charge people extra for that. You're going to get access to that for free. And everything's still relevant. It's just things like how to read a kepograph, like super basic stuff.
I'll make sure to mention that in the introduction. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we're going to go over how to read a kepograph. We go over examples like you're at the store. Here's what you're looking at. Here's how to scan a barcode and how to do reverse sourcing. Just like, so very, very, very newbie focused. And we're doing that so that we can jump right into some of the other stuff. So we don't have to take, some of the issues we've heard in the past is more advanced sellers saying, this is all newbie. There's nothing here for me. And that's not going to be the case. All the quote, very, very newbie stuff is going to be already there, able to be consumed as soon as it opens up on the 13th of September.
So during the month of August and early in September is when you want to be getting into this group. And if you're new, especially get in as soon as you can. We'll post that newbie stuff, I'm assuming, right off the bat.
We can do it right off the bat. As soon as that Facebook group opens up. Yep, absolutely.
So if you're listening to this podcast episode, the opportunity is open, provenq4plan.com, especially if you're brand new, so you can be getting prepped, watching some of this newbie content. And even if you don't have the Proven Amazon course yet, you just want to go through this and make this your first exposure to our group. That's a great plan. So I'm glad you pointed that out, Ryan. Thanks. Yeah. What else comes to mind, guys? Specific tips, anything we forgot to cover? Honey, Jimmy?
Well, there's a couple of things that I would say too. I mean, even for the advanced sellers, we've already talked about other marketplaces, some of the international opportunity, some of the things with Keep a Product Finder, but we'll also make sure to cover a little bit of how to outsource some of Q4, how you can take advantage of some of the gig economy right now with so many people, so many different apps, how you can actually kind of partially scale during Q4 without having to hire employees. That's one thing that I'm interested in, and I'm going to make sure to cover for some of the advanced sellers that maybe are kind of in between of being a newbie and being advanced. And even for some of the most advanced people, this is something they could take advantage of. And then additionally, we'll just make sure that there's tons of content and tons of just different opportunities for you to network with each other. I think that if we have an advanced sellers call that can get together, I think that would be an awesome thing too. So we've got people that are doing over whatever $5,000 or $10,000 a month in Q4, and they want to share some tips of things that they've done. We'll also cover things like Black Friday. If you want to go out, I remember it was 2 years ago, I stayed out all night, and then Brittany took the morning shift throughout the day. So, we kind of went back and forth. So there's those types of opportunities too. We're going to talk about the fun stuff like that, where, hey, you can just grind throughout Q4. And we'll also talk about replens of how to continue and carry this momentum forward into 2022, which is extremely important.
Yeah. But so what I'm hearing is even if you don't take advantage of this opportunity, man, do something about Q4. If you've got some spare time and some spare change, you can turn it into some incredible results this coming Q4. Arguably without paying any attention to any of the stuff we have to offer, just look what's happening on Amazon and online. They're going to be selling out of a lot of stuff, a lot of opportunity. But if you really want to systemize it, do it within the group of great people, this is the group to do it with. Any final thoughts, honey, before we start to wrap this one up?
Just going to say, we want to, we've talked about this. Some of us, we've been a part of the Q4 groups for a few years now. And
that's true. We've done this. How many, 6 times now, Ryan? 5, 6? At least.
It's been a few.
Maybe further than that.
I'm thinking 2014 or 2015.
Yeah. Time's flying.
Yeah.
So great point, honey. Yeah, we've done this many times, and it continues to be extremely successful every time. People love it every single time.
Yeah. We've learned the things that people have liked about them, and we've learned about the things that we need to do more of. And so that's what, we're going based off of feedback of previous ones, and we want to be able to serve you well and what you need for your business. And so that's what this is this year. It's a culmination of a lot of years of figuring out what has worked best. What are people looking for? What are the questions all about? And so that's what we're doing here. If you come up with other questions and other things you want to learn about, we'll do our best to provide that. Everything's not completely set in stone. We're always happy to add more content as it's needed. And so, this really is for everybody. If you're willing to put in the work and the time, and you're still looking for some help in this area, you don't have it all figured out and you're looking for some help, this is the place to be for Q4.
Beautifully said. And we've got a good handful of other experts too, besides the three of you that are going to be helping out. It's quite a list. If you can get over to Proven Q4 Plan, the list is probably growing by the time we publish this podcast of the people who want to jump in and help contribute, because it's a truly exciting time. So maybe I'll wrap this episode up speaking to the people who are kind of new on the fence. Maybe they're not decided if this is for them or not. This would be a great time to get in and test the waters. I like that fishing analogy I used earlier. Like, lakes have like a 1 month of the year where you're crazy not to come. If you're a fisherman, that's the month you got to be there. Well, that's what Q4 is like. Like, you're crazy to ignore. You'll run out of money before you run out of deals. I love that motto that we've used for years, and it's held so true. You're going to burn through all your investment capital and put it into these great return items during Q4 if you pay attention to the stuff that we're teaching you, because the opportunity is just so expansive. We'd love to take that journey with you. So, hey, thanks to the panel, Ryan, Honey, Jimmy, you guys did a great job. I'm going to talk to the listener now as we start to wrap this one up. It was a great episode. I hope it didn't feel like a pitch fest, because it really isn't. If you get into the Q4 group, you'll see why we're so passionate about it and why we committed a whole episode just to this topic, because every year we hear from hundreds and hundreds of people in this community who say, wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much for helping me tap into Q4 and make it just a huge successful platform to launch into the next year. And as Ryan said, 2022, get used to it. It's coming, like it or not. That calendar's about to flip. And this is a great way to get that momentum going as we go into the new year as well. Just surrounded with some great quality people. And that's a thought that I think would make a nice way to cap this thing off to the listeners is, if all you got was an opportunity to do this with other people who are taking it seriously, this fourth quarter journey, it's worth every penny. But we're going to stack the content in here strong and heavy. We should be charging about 5 times, if not more, than what we are charging. So get to provenq4plan.com, check it out. And if all you want is just great content and you're a free listener to this podcast and you've never spent a dime with us, guess what? We love you. We're in your corner. We're here to support you. Everybody on the screen with me right now, as well as the rest of about 100 people who are leaders and content creators and coaches in our community, we're here to help you succeed with our free resources. It's going to be coming on hard and strong. We've got multiple great, successful students who we're going to be interviewing in the coming days and weeks. And I already have interviewed some of them, and their podcast episodes that are coming. So thanks for bearing with us on one of these episodes where it felt like we're kind of trying to sell you something, because I know that's unusual for us, but really we're not. We just want to help you. And I hope the teacher's heart comes through, that we really want you to succeed. That's what we do here. So on behalf of the panel, Ryan, Honey, and Jimmy, we're going to wrap this one up. God bless all the business building warriors who are out there. We're in your corner. We're praying for you. We believe in you. We're here to support you. Thanks for some of your most valuable asset, your time. We're very grateful for that. And we'll have another awesome episode for you again real soon.